Yeah, when you mentioned listening and not taking on kind of the other person's emotions and problems, that's something I'm definitely guilty of, and have actually only recently realized this year that I have this, I'm gonna say it's a problem because it does end up being a problem where someone will come to me, have something they're struggling with, and my brain is immediately, how can I solve it? How can I, make everything 100% better? And it's like they didn't even come to you asking for help. They just needed to rant, or like they have a whole team behind them and they all can't figure it out. Why, like, they're just mentioning something in passing. Why are you trying to take on this problem they have or something that they're working on? Like, you can't be the rescuer. And again, I think that
Mm-hmm.
has to do with, my dad died when I was young. And rather than deal with the grief, I was in early middle school. I was middle school. You could not pay me enough money in the world to live through middle school again. I'll just leave it at that. So it was a rough time already. And then, like I said, my sister was MIA, kind of doing her own thing. And so it was just me seeing my mom break down. And so, just me, I've always felt emotions on like if most people feel emotions on like a 5, I feel it on like a 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's overwhelming. I feel other people's emotions like that. I go into a room, I don't even know what my emotion is. So kind of going back to figuring out what your energy is and learning boundaries is just something that's still like, to me, I hear like, oh, you need boundaries, and I'm thinking, but aren't I being rude? And it's like, no, you got to protect yourself. But so from that age, I'd see my mom break down, and it would be like, okay, gotta, how can I rescue my mom? And it's like, how is a middle schooler supposed to rescue their mom? They don't have, even have control over their own body. Their body is doing crazy things with the hormones. They have no control over their life. They can't go out with friends and go out to eat and have food. Like they've got nothing. And so, and I think that impacted me deeply because I still see myself being like, well, how can I make their life easier? How can, like, even in my job, like that's what I want. But luckily with the job, I can step away from that and I can say, I've given them the tools. If they need me, they know they can reach out. And it's just transferring that mindset into my actual life, because I will hear something from someone and I will bend over backwards and they're just like, I was just saying something. Like, I don't know why you're going over the top. But to me, it's like, but it's because I take on issues that aren't mine, and even problems that people aren't asking me to solve. But
Mm-hmm.
I hear it and my brain is like, but what can I do? How can I fix it? And that leads to burnout. And again, it's part of the people pleasing thing. And it's trying to understand that if I'm putting boundaries up, it's not me saying I don't care. It's
Mm-hmm.
saying I care enough that I have faith in them that they're able to figure things out, and that they don't need someone babying them or holding their hand, and respecting them enough to know that if they actually need help, they can use their words because I'm not their mom. And treating them
Mm-hmm.
like essentially a baby isn't actually helpful to anyone. It's actually disrespectful to them because it's like me saying that they can't use their words and that they're helpless. And it's trying to get that mindset for me, because for me, I don't see it like that. I see it as, I need to help everyone. And it's actually caused a lot of conflict in my life because people, it's hard for me to understand their point of view, but I'm trying to kind of relearn, hey, I'm not dealing with like 7-year-old. I'm dealing with people in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s and up. Like, they can use their words. They're not helpless. And by trying to rescue everyone, I'm not being a hero. I'm really infantilizing everyone. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's just trying not to take on that energy.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's so cool that you've recognized it and you've discovered it and you're like, huh, like what's going on here? Because that's the first part, like first point of like what's next, right? And the fact that you're like, huh, maybe I don't have to do it this way, kind of like the automatic what came, well, was the first reaction. And now it's like, huh, well, how can I navigate this? In fact, before we jumped on today, I saw this message from like a Telegram chat, and it was somebody was asking, well, how do you have boundaries? And I was just thinking, oh, that is a big can of worms of a question, because it's so different for everyone. But the fact that you recognized it and you're kind of just like, okay, well, like with work, I know that like here's kind of what I can offer and what I can do for them. And then it's like, it can really be empowering to let them take that from there, or let them come to you with what they really need.